Welcome back to my garden. I am so excited that you're here with me. And today I want to take you around and show you what has been going on in the garden. Today is June 8th and there's been so much growth and so many new things happening here. So I want to show you what's going on today. Today I'm going to start in this area of the yard, which includes our berry raised beds. So here we have different types of berries. This bed over here has blackberries. So we have 3 blackberry plants here, and then I planted bush green beans along the edge and then some pole beans along this trellis. These blackberries are growing well, and I don't know if you can see these. We do have a couple of blackberries that I don't know how long they're gonna take to grow, and we have another flower that just lost all its petals recently and it's going to turn into another berry. And here these look like these are going to be new flowers over here. So that's a lot of exciting things going on over here with the blackberries. Our next bed over here is our raspberry bed. So you can see the 3 raspberries that are growing. I have a row of radishes that I planted over here, and then a row of green beans that are also going to be growing up this trellis. My plan is to plant some carrots alongside this edge in the next couple of weeks. These raspberries are growing very well. It looks like this right here is a new cane. So it looks like, I think this is the cane that is actually going to produce this year. This thing here is not going to produce anything. So I can just see like different shoots coming out of the cane that I planted. So lots of exciting things. I don't see any flowers yet, but there's a lot of growth, a lot of new leaves that I see every day. This next bed is our blueberry bed, or one of our blueberry beds, because we have 2. And then I also planted, well, I have 3 blueberry plants here that are growing. And then I also planted these strawberry plants just to make use of some of that space that is there. These strawberry plants are growing very well, but one thing that is disappointing is that our strawberries are getting eaten by something. So there's been a few strawberries here that have been ready, but I haven't been able to actually harvest any for us because they all get eaten. So then we just collect them and give them to the chickens. So that's very disappointing. So far, I am not pleased with that. I really don't know what it is that's eating them, but something is for sure. And this is our final bed, and this also has blueberries. So here's one of the blueberry plants, another one, and there's another one here, but that one hasn't grown at all, and I don't think it's gonna grow. It just looks completely dead. And in different parts around the bed, I also planted a few things like borage. I planted some basil, but some of those are really tiny still. Some of them are coming up. Other things that I planted did not come up. So I may need to sow some things again because I do want to make use of that space that is not being used right now. So these are growing very well. I don't see any sign of flowers yet. I just planted these this spring, so I don't even know if I should be expecting any fruit this year. Probably not. I am over here right next to this wild patch over here. So these are our volunteer plants, and oh my goodness, these are truly out of control. It is crazy how much they've grown. We have some kind of squash over here, all those chamomile plants over there, and then we have a lot of tomatoes that are growing in the back over there. So we have had so many flowers, but all the flowers we've had so far have been female flowers and no male flowers. So unfortunately, this is what's gonna happen. They're all gonna start like dying out because there weren't any male flowers for them. But, oh my goodness, I just found a male flower. Oh, I think there's another one too. That's exciting. We have gone through this patch so many times and taken out so many plants because there's just so much here. But I think we still need to go through it again and get rid of some plants because it's just too much. Everything is getting like tangled up with each other. They're probably going to start choking each other out. And then it's also going to be difficult for us to get in there and do anything in there. This bed over here has 4 Roma tomatoes. And on the edges of the bed, I also planted some things. I planted some beets along this edge and then carrots along this edge. These tomatoes are growing very nicely. They do still look very small, but when I transplanted them a couple of weeks ago, they were just so tiny. So I think they're overall doing very well. And these carrots came up very nicely, but as you can see, they're very close together. So I need to go through this area and thin those carrot seedlings out. The next 3 beds I'm going to show you are tomato beds. And in each bed I have 2 rows of tomatoes, and in between the tomatoes I have interplanted different things. We have celery that is interplanted in between the tomatoes. We have some carrots that are in between the tomato rows. We have beets. We have peppers in between the tomato plants. Basil. There's lots of different things that are interplanted between the tomato plants. And my goal with the tomatoes is to grow them up this trellis. They are going to be pruned to a single stem or sometimes 2 stems. I'm gonna play around with it and see which one I prefer. And I think that's gonna work really well. I really enjoy pruning tomato plants and training them up this trellis. And that's gonna be good. Some of these plants are ready to be trellised. This Super Sweet 100 is one of the tomato plants that we actually bought as a start because our starts were very tiny. And this one already has a lot of flowers and some tiny cherry tomatoes. We're really excited about that. But I don't know if you can see, this one is going to be a double stem tomato plant. So instead of choosing just one central stem, I let this one kind of go in 2 different directions, and these are going to be the main stems for this plant. And this one is going to grow up this side of the trellis, and this stem is going to go up this side of the trellis. Some other tomato plants are still too small to tie them up, but what I am doing is removing the leaves from the bottom. So as the plants keep growing, I am just removing those bottom leaves to prevent any disease. In one of my tomato beds, I also have onions that are interplanted in between the 2 tomato rows. So this whole area of tomatoes is going to be great. This side of the garden has a ton of tomatoes. So we have a combination of determinate and indeterminate tomatoes. All the tomatoes that are planted close to a trellis system are the indeterminate kind, and those are the ones that I am going to be pruning and staking up. But I do have other areas where I planted some determinate tomatoes, and those ones will not be staked. I might need to use a cage or some kind of support if they get a little tall. For the most part, they will not need to be supported, and they will definitely not need to be pruned. So that takes care of all those beds. That one back there, the tomatoes. This one's also mainly tomatoes with other things interplanted, mainly tomatoes here as well. And this one is also mainly tomatoes with more things interplanted in between the tomatoes. But our last bed on this side is this one, and this is our asparagus bed. But because this is our first year with asparagus, these are not going to grow much bigger than this, I don't think, and they're not taking up the entire bed yet. So we have a lot of room to do other things. So we are also growing some peppers here and some determinate tomato plants. So these are gold nugget tomatoes, and these are going to get, I think, about 3 feet tall. And these ones don't need to be staked up a trellis. So I think this is a good spot for them. I can already see a big difference from when I transplanted them. They were so tiny when I transplanted them, but they are growing so nicely. I am also removing the bottom leaves, even though this is not the type of plant that I want to prune, but I am just removing the bottom growth just to prevent some disease as well. And over here I have some California peppers, and they are growing very nicely. And I don't know if you see a tiny little pepper over in this other plant. This is so exciting. Last year at this time of the year, we didn't have any peppers growing yet. And this is about as big as our pepper plants got last year, or maybe even smaller. And we got maybe 1 or 2 peppers from each plant. But here we already have a little pepper growing, and then we have so many flowers, and the plant just continues to get taller. So here we have our 4 California pepper plants over here in the front, with the tomatoes behind those pepper plants. And over here on the other side of the bed, we also have more peppers. These are the Corno di Toro peppers. And again, we have lots of flowers in these. I'm walking over to the patio right now because I want to show you what's happening on the green stalks. And lots of cool things happening over here. I want to start out with the strawberry plant. And let me show you what's happening here. This has been so exciting. We have been able to harvest a few handfuls of strawberries already from this green stalk. It has been amazing. We have some more over here. This is just gorgeous. They are doing really well. But like I've shown you before, not all of these are doing well. There are some empty pockets, especially as we get towards the bottom, and I'm sad about that. But I don't know if you can see this. This is a runner. This is going to get long, and I'm pretty sure it's going to reach this pocket over there, so I can just connect it to the soil, and then it's going to root and a new plant is going to start. This one here is this plant here is huge with lots of growth and strawberries and even setting out runners. Overall, I am very pleased with what's happening here in the green stalk for the strawberries, as opposed to what's happening in the blueberry bed that I showed you earlier, where all our strawberries are being eaten. It is amazing how nothing is damaging our strawberries here, so I am so excited about that. Our other green stalk, where we're growing some veggies, I mean, this is going really well. They're growing very nicely. This is our jalapeno plant, and so we have some baby ones already, which is just so exciting, and lots of flowers and lots of growth here in this jalapeno plant. And our lettuce is doing well. We already harvested a whole bunch of lettuce and kale and Swiss chard from this tower. It's been going really well. I still need to do something about these empty spaces. I haven't done a good job at planting something there to take advantage of this space. And here I have arugula and dandelion growing, but maybe it's not the right time for these to be growing because they're not doing as well as I would expect them to, but they're okay. And then this top tier where I planted lettuce is still empty, so I am wasting space right here. I do need to just get out here and do something and plant some seeds or something, because I'm just wasting that space. We have 2 raised beds that are filled with onions, and these are also the beds where we grew radishes interplanted with the onions, but those have already been harvested. But you can see this flowering plant behind me, and that is actually a radish that I let go to seed, and it has gotten so huge. It is way bigger than I thought it would be, It has so many flowers, and now it's starting to develop these tiny little pods where the radish seeds will be. So I'm excited that we're going to be able to harvest some seeds from that. These onions here are growing very well. They have a lot of good growth in these, and I already harvested so much of the green onion tops for our meals, and so far this bed is looking great. Our other bed is also doing well. I harvested the radishes from this bed as well, but I haven't had the time to get all the weeds out of this bed. So you can see it has a ton of weeds, and I don't know if that's why these onions are not growing as vigorously as the ones in the other bed. Maybe there's just too much competition for nutrients from the weeds. So I need to make sure I come over here and weed this bed. But that's what's happening over here in our onion beds, our 2 raised beds with onions, because we have another bed that I'm about to show you that also has onions, but that is an in-ground bed. So let me show you that. This is our other onion bed. This is our in-ground bed, and I was concerned about this bed at first, but I do see some good growth, so I'm excited about it. And we also have some volunteer chamomile plants here, and we have so much chamomile all over the garden. Actually, I think we have more than what we had last year, and last year we planted intentionally, and this year we didn't even plant any, and we just have so much. But this is our onion bed mainly, and it's doing well so far. Right next to our onion bed, we have our garlic bed, and I have been harvesting garlic scapes from this bed, from some of the garlics, because not all of them are hardnecks. And I am pretty sure that by the end of this month, I will be ready to harvest these garlic plants. I know we have over 100 garlic heads that we are going to be harvesting from there, so I am so excited for that. Our zucchini bed is doing well. We have some of the bigger zucchini plants that are growing over there. Some of the ones on this end just started coming up because originally the seeds didn't germinate, so I had to replant. And now they're just trying to catch up. And I also, like, in between these plants, I also put some flower seeds. I don't remember what flower it is. I don't know if it was borage or not marigolds, maybe calendula. I planted some kind of seed, some kind of flower seed, and those are starting to come up as well. Over here, these are sunflowers, and I am so excited. They are growing very nicely, but I don't have all of them that sprouted. So my original idea was to have a long line of sunflower seeds that will go all across this back wall all the way to the end. But as you can see, there are so many areas over here where the sunflowers did not sprout, and I was supposed to plant more seeds in cups, but that didn't work out. I haven't done that yet, so I'm probably just gonna throw maybe more seeds over here, and then I think I still have time to plant them or to grow them in cups, but I'm still hopeful that I will still have a chance to have that beautiful wall of sunflowers that I've been talking about. This is our cabbage bed. Isn't it beautiful? These cabbages are so gorgeous. They're forming beautiful heads. Oh, I'm so excited. They just look so gorgeous. This one here is probably the biggest one we have. I think it's a little soft still, but I'm pretty sure that by the end of this month, by the end of June, we'll be able to harvest a few heads. Some of the heads are bigger than others because I planted some a little bit later, but I am excited about what's going on over here. So in this bed, I have about 15 cabbage heads, and That is really exciting. So again, I need to keep planting. I need to start sowing more cabbage seeds so that when these get harvested, I want to plant more cabbages here again. This is our beautiful bed full of leafy greens. We have different types of kale, we have lettuce, collard greens, and then I also planted bok choy over here, but these went to seed. Our spring was just way too warm for the bok choy. So I have a lot of things going on here. These lettuce plants are on their way out. I think I'm just gonna harvest one more time, and then I'm just going to remove all those lettuce plants. Then I'm going to let these small kale plants take over, and also these other collard greens are going to fill out this space here. As you can see, I have a lot of weeds in this bed. Also, I need to take care of that. I need to remove these bok choy plants that are flowering, but we have harvested so much from this bed. I am very grateful for this bed, and I already see from the last time that I harvested just a few days ago, I already see that I can do another big harvest of kale because there's just so much going on here. This is our cucumber bed that all the cucumber plants have come up, and I don't know if you can see that we also have some carrot seedlings in between the two cucumber rows, and we also have some beets. Not all the beets have come up, and some of the beets that have come up have been eaten by either birds or roly-polies or whatever else is attacking them. But these cucumbers are growing well. They are not big enough yet to start climbing up this trellis, but they are doing well. And our last bed over here is our butternut squash bed, and you can see those big plants are the butternut squash, and then in between the butternut squash I have 3 watermelon plants. So that's what's happening in this bed. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this was inspiring for you so that you can keep growing in your garden. I'll see you next time.